How we doing, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Info here with another memes video. Now, I'm just going to get out of the way before we start, because not many people watch my videos, and then, sadly, the few that do decide to just, you know, make ridiculous comments when I'm already saying things like, hey, it's a meme build, so I'm not investing much money into this. Hey, it doesn't do what you think it's going to do. Yet they'll still comment with, well, this is a bit crap, isn't it? Ugh. So I'm like, I'm just going to go out and say that the poison damage from this build isn't amazing. You know, you're getting a lot of it from the fact that you're a Summon Zon with extra steps, okay? It's just a bit of fun, right? I mean, the poison damage is pretty cool. It's just not, again, one-tap killer, which when you put a video out on the internet, people will complain that it's not a one-tap killer. So why did you make a video? Even though you stated the reasons why. But I digress. As I said, this is technically a Summon Zon. You use a lot of passive skills, but you do take advantage of the Poison Strike skill via Venom Rune Word. So, seeing as we're here, we'll start off with gear as usual. So, Venom Rune Word. I got lucky, I rolled the first one and it was nearly anti-perf. It was something like 21, 22 to enemy poison resistance. Rerolled it once. There's a clip on my YouTube channel of me rerolling it, making a D&D reference about you can reroll, but you must accept the second dice roll. So I got -30 to enemy poison resistance. The 20% chance to cast a level 28 poison over on striking kicks off a lot. Does fairly reasonable damage. You know, gets a good spread across the screen. The all-important ignores target's defense, which makes it easier for you to actually slap the enemies. You know, which is a good thing. Sadly, the 3 to poison strike from the dagger itself is necromancer only. I would like that to be subsumed into rune words. I mean, it would be a big boost to necromancers, of course, if they made a venom dagger. They could have a 6 to poison strike dagger, but you know, why not? Why not? There's plenty of ones that do millions to bone skills or summoning skills or whatever. It's like, yeah, why not let them have that with venom necromancers? Because at the same time, characters like this could have it. So I could have a, you know, 9 to poison strike weapon instead of 6. Anyway, I don't think it's necessary. It still does a good job. I don't use the desecrate charges for anything, but I'm sure they could be useful, you know, if you had an eternity or something and you were summoning. That's the usual status quo there. But anyway, that's what we're using. Stabby stabs. We'll go over the stats later. So for this slot, I needed a little bit of increased attack speed. So the one socket, this one was 15% increased attack speed and fire res 23 to offset the negative fire res from the item itself. And obviously all the good stuff you get the poison nova when struck, which is great because again, we'll go over the charms in a minute. We've got a lot of poison damage charms. The increased attack speed helps me at a break point, which again we'll go over in a minute. The replenish life, I like replenish life. You know, walking around, your life just zooms back up again. Obviously, again, didn't want to invest a lot of money into this, so you know, I do have a 3-socket version of this I could have used, but I want to stick it on my bow necromancer. So yeah, in reality, you'd have a 3-socket version of this, 1 increased attack speed dual, if you go with the gear I'm using, which you don't have to, and then the rest of it, poison facets, for example. I would like poison facets, but it's hard to get stuff everywhere. So Mara's for the 2 dual skills, so it buffs up your poison strike, resistances, attributes, a better slam, again, could have occurred. I went with Headhunters because I love the stats on Headhunters. I'd have loved this to, again, been 3 sockets, better res stuff. But you get the amp on striking to help your minions out because your physical damage is... but you get that massive defense and defense versus missile, which is really, really nice. Especially defense versus missile, that's huge. I mean, this rolled max, as you can see, but oh my god, it's great. 3 sockets would obviously be better, so you can get your res shored up. You get that lovely curse resistance as well, which is rather nice. I just like Headhunter's Glory, it's great. You could stick any other shield here. I'm not a big fan of Radamant Sphere. There's not a lot going on it that makes it worthy of the poison. You know, I'd much rather have a defensive shield here. Any of them. Gurkhas, Storm Shield, you know, Crafted Shield, anything. But I went with this because I wanted the resistances here and the skills here, to, like I said, for Poison Strike. So I needed amp somewhere, because my Merc isn't doing that this time. Not this time. The boots were supposed to just be a placeholder. I'll move them so my melon isn't in the way. But they were supposed to just be a placeholder so that I could move around with like sandstorm treks, water walks to help, you know, blocking, things like that, blah, blah. But in the end, I ended up using them because I really needed the resistances, and they're fat. I do lose a bit of faster run walk. Again, 30 would be better. We all know I love replenish life, so I'm not bothered about that slam. Because in combination with 24 on the helmet and 23 from the boots, I've got some pretty hefty... It's like wearing Steel Shade, which again is another helmet you could use if you wanted to. But I'll go over again why I'm using that in a second, sort of skill-wise, should we say. So all important Carrion Wind, because you need the Poison Creeper to bring down the enemy's poison resistance by 15%. Every little helps. So then we've got Bramble Armor. This is the most expensive part of the build. I just said, hey, but Dean, you said it's cheap. I'm like, yeah, but I had an Omen Assur that I earned, you know, from some hard grafting. So I was like, why not? I'll make this as, you know, spend a bit on the memes. Justify, backpedal. Anyway, so the Thorns Aura is... It's just there for memes. It's kind of pointless in the sense that we're not buffing up our Thorns abilities here. You get a Spirit of Barbs from this and a Thorns Aura, and obviously I have both active for the memes. I mean, obviously Thorns is anyway, but I've not capitalized on it, should we say. It's not like, oh my god, we're going for Thorns. Or it is something you could possibly do. It would require a bit of a gear workaround, of course, for that focus. But I wouldn't recommend it here. It's just there, as, you know, minions are going to get hit, the decoys are going to get hit, you know, you're going to get hit. There's level 20 Thorns Aura and a level 13 Spirit of Barbs combined. Whatever. Anyway, this one rolled not brilliant for the 44 poison skill damage, so I'm just slightly under a mid-roll. Obviously you want 50, but it's quite expensive to keep rolling that one, so we just go with it. And you don't need to roll it loads, because it's got, again, 44 to poison skill damage is still mental. And loads of other little flavour mods as well. The max cold res, the life after each kill. You get life after each kill on headhunters as well, so if you do manage to make kills and it's not just your minions, you get a lot of life return there, so it's good. You're quite healthy. And again, we'll go over Merc in a minute. He keeps you very healthy. So the belt is 6 to poison skill damage snake cord. Again, you could put anything in here. You could put a Arachnid's Mesh for the +1 skill to help out your poison strike. I like this because it had an attack rating slam, because when you're fighting bosses, that ignores target defense. You know, against everything else, it's great, but when you fight a boss, you're going to need a bit of extra attack rating. So I got it here, and there was somewhere else I had it. Don't remember. Maybe I moved it around, changed gear a bit. Yeah, I think I changed gear. I had another attack rating thing going on, but I moved stuff around. And it's because I needed resistances in hell. So, yeah. This ring is purely there for the cold and the lightning res. The cast rate, we all know Amazons have terrible cast rate, so I suppose it helps a little. Life leech helps, I guess. It was just, you know, I needed cold and lightning res in a bigger quantity so I could keep my charms the way they're arranged. So yeah, again, room for improvement there, of course. And then lastly, a 15 to poison skill damage Venom Grip, which I prefer over Trangs because, yeah, you can get 15 on Trangs, but this also has combat modifiers. You get tiny bit of Life Leech, you get a bit of Crushing Blow. I mean, I rolled perfect Life Leech and perfect Poison. I didn't expect perfect Crushing Blow, but if I had it, would have been cool. A better Slam, of course, could have been increased attack speed, you know, things like that. But again, it's all I've managed to muster. And they're good, you know. Everything helps. There's lots of poison skill damage going on. All right, so that is the gear. We'll go on to my charms. So we have majority of poison skill damage going on here, which means the poison nova when struck, the poison nova on striking, and then poison strike itself gets some juicy bonuses. Like I said, I've still got a bunch of plain ones here. Could get second mods with life and stuff. Strength, max damage, you know, there's a couple up here. That one's pretty juiced, cold. So yeah, that's just to help you, you know, really shore up the damage on the poison strike. I've got some actual just poison damage going on, charm-wise, because of the nature of how we're going to blag it in a minute with, you know, talking about Venom. And obviously we got a Torch and an Annie. Nothing special. I mean, the torch is actually pretty good. But the Annie is, you know, it's fine. It just needs to be slammed. But I haven't got any Twisted Wellstone shards. Again, this is slightly stronger than my usual level of memes. There's a decent amount of money involved here, but I've done a lot of mapping this season, so I found it all. Anyway, no more gear excuses. On to the Merc. Mercenaries gear. So I went with an Act 4 light mercenary, just purely because I knew I would be in the middle of the fray, running in, stabbing things, and trying to run away. Yeah, I rhymed. So I thought, I need some healing here. So I went with this guy because he heals like crazy. Even when he's shooting the Holy Bolts, the Fist of Heaven's Holy Bolts, all of that does a big heal. And in conjunction with healing me, he's helping out my other damage type, which we'll get onto in a minute with skills. So he's got the Up Spire of Lazarus for the cast rate, and he's got, it's a 30% chance to cast level 15 static field on casting. Now that happens a lot, and because he's pumping out healing and damage, like I said, in the form of Fist of Heavens, so it helps his Fist of Heavens. The static field's always out to help my Valks, which we'll go over in a minute. So he's got Mage Fist to help with cast rate. He's got an Andy's Helm just purely because it was the toss-up between those two to put on me. And then the leftover was like, it's a 2-skill helmet. Who cares? Let's give it to the mercenary. It's got fast hit recovery. Helps him make a breakpoint, if I recall correctly. Yeah. If I take that off, he goes down to 42. So it was like, oh, let's just keep it on. It's skills, whatever, who cares? And he gets a Poison Nova when struck. So again, poison everywhere. It's not a terrible thing. I gave him Atma's Whale because it's got a high defense. I could have, again, if you want improvements there, you know, and you can get cast rate elsewhere, then stick a Steel Carapace on him and it'll be pretty much indestructible. But I went with this because I needed the cast rate, the fast hit recovery. You know, it's a solid armor. You know, obviously if it slammed for +2 skills, it would be super solid. The belt is, again, faster hit recovery, huge. Cast rate, we only need a little bit more, so I stuck with a 10 instead of a 20. The 8 to Vitality is sadly useless, but the Life and Rares are not. And then lastly, just some good old Rite of Passage for Cannot Be Frozen, because I ran out of Marrow Walks. So yeah, he hits some decent breakpoints. He's got 125 fast cast rate and 86 fast hit recovery. He's got a reasonable life and damage. Obviously we can't really tell what's going on, but he's pumping out loads of healing fast, basically, and he does a crazy amount of damage because he's got obviously his own built-in Sanctuary Aura, which helps his Holy Bolts. Right, so let's talk about skills, and again why I'm going with Andariel's is Venom. It's my usual thing that I do with this. So yeah, nothing in bow and crossbow tree. I mean, again, if you wanted to max strafe to help out with the decoys, but that's not sort of the way I went with this. So I went with maxing Power Strike because it was initially supposed to just be me and my 2 Valks running around, obviously with the Merc, but doing the other damage type, which is lightning. So, as I said, the Mercenaries' Spire of Lazarus with the static field helps out with the lightning on the Valks because I'm maxing up Pierce for the lightning Pierce per level, 2%. I max Power Strike for the lightning damage per level. And then I've maxed Decoys because where else am I going to put the skill points? Because I'm not using, like I said, I'm not using Power Strike and I'm not using any bow skills. So, I put 10 into Penetrate for when I'm up against bosses and I need to actually hit them, so I get some AR and some minus target defense, but that also helps the Valks with attack rating, and it helps the decoys, so minus target defense for everyone and some AR. Woohoo, great stuff. So 10 points there for me and them. 10 points in Pierce, so that decoys pierce when I actually cast them, which we'll go over in the gameplay section, and like I said, lightning pierce for them. A little bit of dodge and evade for me. I'll put more points in this later. Like I said, I'm just about trying to get my 10th point in critical strike, which I'll probably leave there and move on to these. These are also very useful. Again, if you've got enough skill points, you can cast Inner Sight and Slow Movement, but we'll go over that in gameplay. So yeah, that's my skills. So as I said, the reason we're using Venom, well, Andariel's Visage is for the Venom, so we can truncate my poison damage. So if I go over the stats, it might be easy to explain. So if we just hit up River of Flame, And another thing I do is I borrow my, you know, lend gear with my Merc, because I just noticed one of my Valks died on my last map. So I just borrow his staff, pop out some Valks, like that. Oh, wait. Now give it back to him. Thanks, dude. So then my inventory isn't chocked up with stuff like it usually is, because let's face it, it's me. Alright, so I have decoy on left click. On switch, I obviously have spell steal. That's why I didn't even mention it before. Because if I really need the amp, because we're struggling with physical, or I can't break it with poison, or the Merc can't break it with magic, we've got amp and we've got teleport. You know, that's why I love spell steal. So, I say, stat points wise for me, my fast cast rate is rubbish, like I said, but who cares? My fast hit recovery is big because of Bramble. 50 fast hit recovery, so I'm hitting an 86 breakpoint, so I can, if I get caught out while I'm trying to stab things with poison, I can recover quickly and run away. Blocking, sadly, is not brilliant. It's only 50% because it's headhunters. I mean, I could stick a bunch of Eld runes in it, but I would really suffer with my resistances. I've got, obviously, max cold res from Bramble and max poison res from Andariel's, so that's why I got a little bit of extras there, which is cool. But I'm not going to be doing Rathma anytime soon with it or something. So yeah, basically, I've got a buttload of life leech. So my physical damage is rubbish, but if I can get, you know, some life leech in and mana leech, it's all good. But as you can see, I've got 41k over 31 seconds, right, with the poison damage. And because I haven't switched, because I switched weapons there, you got to make sure you get poison strike back on. So poison strike, as you can see, it doesn't look like a lot. It's like, oh, geez, that's pretty bad. What's going on here? And it's like, well, you got all these poison charms, you know, that help. All right, so what we do is we cast up old venom, right? And as you can see, it's now quite small looking amount, but over 1 second. And you're like, oh wow, check that out. And it looks cool. She's got a funky green dagger. So gameplay wise, like I said, we run along. If it's scary looking out there, which that isn't, I would cast some scouting decoys. But we run in, we stab some stuff, and if I keep stabbing, like I said, they're poison immune, so that doesn't help, you know. They don't get broken. Some stuff don't get broken by the vine. The vine's there to help you. Like I said, stuff that is, you know, poison immune gets killed from the Valks and the Merc. But let's say, I don't know, run along this way. Oh, okay, this is a good example. He's not poison immune. Just keep stabbing it. I immediately prop down, and as you can see, you got rinse there. Like, he melted hard. Now, that could be, you know, not massively attributed to the poison damage, say, from Poison Strike. It is and it isn't. It's not a powerhouse. You're there to sort of damage control and spread over a big area. It's like, oh, look, we've come into this thing. We'd spread that, as you can see. Go back. The Mercenary and the minions take care of it. If there's some super scary stuff out there, you know, let's say we're walking down here and there's fanaticism, like, oh, quick, then we shove out some decoys. And then they'll shoot and get on it, and I'll stab. And it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's not exactly a powerhouse. I mean, I clear maps pretty quickly with it. But yeah, it's fun. You know, see all the poison novas kicking off. It's pretty good. Like I said, I am missing nothing. It's because as soon as I get a decoy up and they disappear, it feels like I'm missing something up there. But you've got to be mindful of the poison creeper and the spirit dying. Like I said, the spirit don't do a lot. It just looks cool. And your two Valks, like I said, they're going to help you out. They're going to make sure that you don't get, you know, past a bit of that. There we go. See? It's all lovely, lovely. I could go and kill Diablo, but I feel like this video's gone on long enough. It's a fun build. Like I said, you could change out a lot of things here. You know, spice it up how you want. I think it works, like the poison. See, it's quite strong. I mean, other things are shooting, so it's hard to tell. But against bosses, you notice, like, you really do help out. Like, the poison starts to really wreck. And positioning, if you stand there like it did then, the mercenary is there, shoots his holy bolts. You may have a tiny damage pool and only 50% block, but it keeps you very safe. He's very good at healing. And again, you're supposed to just run in, stab, and run away. Like, stab, stab, run. Well, if you feel like you don't want to use a bow or you don't want to use javelins, but you still want to be a summoner, You know, you got a healthy bunch of plus skills here from all of this. And again, poison instead of something else. Just a little fun way of being a summon Zon, I guess. Because that would be in the comment section. I'm like, hey. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. And take care. Thank you for watching.